Welcome to Hot Rolls. This is the show where I put industry professionals on the hot seat while they try to teach and beat me in a game. This is episode 1, so we're going to take it easy. We're starting here with Nick Murray, the co-founder of Bitewing Games, who is crowdfunding very soon, Rolling Deep. It is a solo game, so I'm not asking Nick to try to beat me. Just get through all of my questions. Some of them get just a little spicy. But in the meantime, we're going to be playing through Rolling Deep. And without further ado, Nick Murray from Bitewing Games. How's it going?
Going well. Keeping busy for sure.
You don't really have much to do, right?
Not at all.
Yeah, I was just listening. Actually, I listened to my second episode yesterday of your bits. I don't know if it's a show or podcast. I watched the a little bit of the Alex, and then I watched Peter last night, and I really loved that format. I love the transparency. I'm all about that. I thought that was great. Have you been doing that for long?
Yeah, I mean, Joe and I started it, I think it was last year. We're about 10 or 11 episodes in. So yeah, it's been good. I mean, we only started with Peter. We brought on, well, I guess we brought on Robert last year too. We've had a few where we bring in a third person to bounce conversation off of, but yeah.
It actually inspired me a little bit because, I was kind of thinking like, what do I do with this playthrough to make it a little more interesting? And, not to spring this on you, but I'm going to spring it on you here. We're going to try, this is a new show we're going to develop together here called Hot Rolls. Have you seen Hot Ones?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the idea, and you're getting out of this a little bit because it's a solo game that you're going to teach me, is that an industry professional comes on and teaches me a game and tries to beat me while answering some questions. They range from mild to spicy in some cases. Are you down to participate?
Yeah. Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. Awesome. They'll all be around Rolling Deep, this game that you're going to teach me. And do you want to get into the game and so you can point stuff around as you talk?
Sure. Yeah, we can jump into it and go from there. I assume you want to play it and have me just guide you through it, that kind of thing?
Yeah, okay. We'll play it. I've played a couple rounds or so with it, so I'm not a complete noob, so this wouldn't be too hard. I'm guessing we probably just, you give a quick overview of what the game is, and we, similar to your video, just kind of rolling teach. Excuse the pun there.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I think you might have used that same one now that I think about it, which is awful. Cool game, by the way. Very cool game.
Yeah, we're excited about it. It's have you played Balatro before?
I lost way too many hours of my life to that game. Way too many hours. And I don't even know if it's a game. Like that music, like you're going to need like a soundtrack or something to keep me in a trance like with Balatro. Like there was something about that music that was just like kind of, just put me in a trance. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I agree. It'd be nice to have some kind of soundtrack.
All right. Well, before we actually get into it, let's just start with a quick little warm-up question. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. So you offered on Rolling Deep after, I believe, a half session at 11 p.m. when Peter wasn't technically pitching it from, I believe the designer diary said this. What was the signal that, that made you, I believe you texted him like the next morning that you wanted to sign this game? Like, what was the thing that stood out to you in, I think, a few turns?
Yeah. Well, straight from the pitch, he was saying, like, basically, I tried to recapture the feeling of Rolling Deep, of Balatro in a board game. And I've played Balatro before. Actually, when I flew to Thailand for a CMON Expo convention, this was a couple of years back. That's when I downloaded Balatro because I'd heard good things about it, and obviously it's very popular among gamers, and it won, Indie Game of the Year and things like that. So I tried it on the very long plane ride from like the U.S. to South Korea was the layover to Thailand, and I started playing it, and then like, 6, 7, 8 hours. It was a long time. That many hours later, with just like snacks and bathroom breaks between, it was like, man, I just played this almost the whole flight over. And a very addicting game, as you know. And so yeah, I'm a big fan of Balatro. And so when Peter pitched it as like, yeah, I'm trying to recapture Balatro on a board game, I was instantly like, okay, if he can do this, if he can pull this off, then this could be a very successful, very popular board game. And so yeah, I tried a few rounds of what he was working on, and yeah, at the time it was only a few weeks old, the prototype that he was working on. And I could immediately feel, okay, I think he's onto it. I think he's on the right path for recapturing this. And knowing, we had signed a game with Peter already, a party game, and knowing his, design history and all the games that he's worked on before, I felt pretty confident at that point that he could pull it off based on the direction and the early decisions he had made for how to take something as unwieldy and mathematical as Balatro and condense it down into a more streamlined dice crafting, dice rolling experience. So, yeah, to me, I could see the vision right away. And so I did not want him to be pitching that elsewhere when I already loved the concept and the idea, and I wanted to help bring it to life. So
with that Balatro angle is a spicier question down the further down the list, but we might as well just jump to it here since we're on that subject. My question was, is the Balatro-inspired kind of tagging a deliberate positioning call, or is it just unavoidable given how the game plays out?
I think it's a happy accident, or it's certainly a beneficial comparison. I think Bitewing isn't the only one to do something like this. I've noticed, like, when Jamie Stegmaier often announces a new game, he'll compare it to things that people are familiar with. And I think that's a really smart way to market a product or a game, is when people are familiar with or they love a type of game or system or something like that. It's a lot easier to kind of explain to them how this particular game works, or get them excited about it if they already have that kind of common ground to build off of. So yeah, and if you've read Peter's design diaries on Board Game Geek, even the first several diaries are just titled like Balatro and then Balatro dice, and like very clearly, nobody's hiding it here. Like, this is very much inspired by Balatro, but I think most people, when they think of a Balatro-inspired board game or a Balatro-style game, they think of poker. And what's interesting is Peter threw out the poker part, and he kept everything else about Balatro in Rolling Deep. So
well, yeah,
he's
the poker part is just like a mechanism or like a canvas to kind of get that I don't know, I guess it's like constant dopamine drip of Balatro, right? And it's also familiarity for people, but
yeah, if you take that out, it's a deck building roguelike kind of boss crawler or a boss battler, if you will, and where you're just trying to face off against an increasing number over each round or blind. And so yeah, he looked at that structure and saw how engaging and dynamic and addicting and Moorish it was, and figured out how to put that into in tabletop form. Because I think people have tried to do just a straight translation of Balatro to tabletop, but the problem you quickly encounter is, like, how do you transform the cards? How do you end up with a lot of different cards as well that you need to add to your deck, right? And then how do you manage the numbers and the combos, because those numbers go into the hundreds of thousands, right? Yes. The combos you can trigger. So yeah, you gotta condense that down somehow, right?
Yeah,
that's kind of what led him down this path.
Slay the Spire had a very similar problem that they had to attack, right? And they scaled a lot of the numbers down, which it was super successful and works really, really well. But I don't think they ever had to scale millions. And Balatro was just like a totally different thing. But I think that's probably a good segue for you to kind of walk us through what Rolling Deep is and how it's different than Balatro. So, take it away, give us a quick overview, and then we'll just rolling teach it, and I'll fumble through it.
Yeah, so Rolling Deep is the first game on our new solo line, the Table for One series, and this is like what's interesting is in this line we're going to have huge meaty games like this one, and then smaller, much more approachable, easy to get in and out of games like Eureka. So this one here, as we've discussed, is basically Balatro the dice game is the easiest way to put it. And you are controlling these dice head characters here as they journey to the center of the earth. And the objective is to travel down the volcano, through the underground tunnels, across the underground ocean, to the, fungus mushroom forest, and then to the center of the earth and exploding back out of the volcano. And the way that is represented is by going through a series of chapters or rounds. And at the end of each chapter, the final round is a boss round where you encounter these underground bosses that make winning the game and progressing that much harder. And as you progress through these rounds, you're basically trying to reach a scoring threshold each round with your score marker here. It's worth noting these are, a lot of these pieces are placeholder. You are going to see a lot of the final art in across, cards and stuff. This is actually an updated version compared to what I've been playing with on the Bitewing YouTube channel. But yeah, what you'll see here is like these are placeholder tokens, but this is your score marker, your targets here in blue, and then your score tracker in green. And so you're trying to hit that threshold every round, but that marker keeps going higher and higher along the score track as the rounds progress. So basically, after a whole round where you take multiple turns rolling dice and adding those sums to your total and triggering cards that you buy along the way to get you there, if you have not reached the score threshold, then you lose the game and you got to start over. Yeah, you're dead. You're done. Just like a roguelike. So. That's it. Yep. And in between,
there's nothing that unless you win, there's nothing that carries over to the next game, unlike a roguelike, right?
Right. Yeah. So this game we've revealed it's going to have a lot of achievements which unlock new content, and that content for the most part gets shuffled into these randomized shop decks and other decks that we have here. So you're just going to uncover more and more and more variety as the game goes on, and as you take on various different challenges. And the first challenge of the game, when you get this game and you open it up, set it on your table, the only objective you have is to win a game. But that's gonna enable you to open a large tuck box filled with more content, and gonna unlock more stuff for you. Now, it's worth noting this isn't like neither Peter nor I consider this like a baby version of the game, or like, oh yeah, we're hiding all these mechanisms inside the secret box. Like what you play here is very much the full game experience. It's just there's a lot more variety to explore once you get deeper. So
beautiful. One thing I noticed missing here is the volcano tower, punchboard assembled. Walk me through, and this is your question too. Walk me through that component decision, that tactile experience versus production cost.
Yeah, I mean, Peter, being Peter, he does this often. He messaged me while he was playtesting the game, I think in person, and he's like, okay, this is going to be an annoying suggestion because it's going to add to the cost, but I feel like the game would benefit from having a dice tower of sorts, or like a dice tray or something to roll your dice into, right? And I thought about it for a second, and I was like, well, Wingspan has a pretty cool dice tower, right, with the birdhouse, and same with Lord of the Rings Fate of the Fellowship with the Sauron's tower. And so, like, what would be our version of that in this game? And then instantly I realized, like, oh, well, we're descending into a volcano, so if we're actually dropping the dice characters down the volcano just like this first chapter shows, then that makes perfect sense. And it just fits so well that I didn't even fight him on it. I was like, all right, we'll do it. It's crazy, but we'll do it. So yeah, there's going to be a volcano dice tower in the game. We're also, the cardboard one, we're going to make sure it's plenty sturdy and cool. Durable, by the way. But we are exploring the option for like a more deluxe one too. So we'll see if we can figure that out before the campaign launches. But yeah, luckily here we don't need it as badly. You highlight the dice and click R and it rolls for us. So
right. Well, yeah, I was just talking to Ivy Studios about deluxified dice towers and how ridiculous they are, and how hard hard they are to store, and that's something they really want to do, but they can't justify like not giving a good storage solution that goes along with it. But yeah, that's something they're kicking around quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, our plan is I think we can fit this game into our like Zuvatis or Silos or, you know, that size box, even with the dice tower included.
Really?
And we're
that's
hoping,
a pretty small box relative to, you know, this being kind of a pretty big gameplay.
Yeah, so it will be dense, right? But if worst case scenario, if we need to make it a little deeper, a little thicker, we will. But it seems like it'll fit in there. So yeah, even with the deluxe dice tower, so it's looking good. It's looking good.
Beautiful. You've survived 3 questions. You can continue.
Yeah, the only other thing I was going to say was in between each round that you win, you get to shop, and shopping will let you add cards to your tableau, which kind of upgrade your abilities and trigger combos. They'll also let you upgrade your dice. This is one of the I've learned one of the few games that exist even after 10 or more years of this being a thing, where customizable dice are a thing. So we're going to be able to change the faces on these dice, except for notably the character faces you cannot change, because that's the characters. But you can upgrade those through the cards, which is fun. So
I think you named 73 swappable dice sides as named components. Is that correct?
We did have 73 originally planned, but we've actually cut it down to 56 because there were a lot of duplicates that we...
Did you cut to 73 was my question.
No, I think Peter likes to just he likes to start with a fire hose of content, and then once we've kind of established okay, this is everything that's fun to play, or everything, all the concepts we've explored, now let's cut it down to what we actually need and what's worthwhile keeping and what is provides the best experience and doesn't get too fiddly. And yeah, we had a lot of duplicates of the dice faces originally, and we realized we don't need this many. And the other thing that we've added to the rules, which you still don't see very often with 56 dice faces, is if you need to use a die face and you don't have it available, let's say you the special 2 has been upgraded on, you've put out all those faces on the dice, you don't have any left, but you earn another one, then you actually get to choose any die face to add to your dice. And so you get rewarded for running out of a specific die face, basically, and needing more.
I like that solution to the component problem. That's cool.
Yeah, because the other thing was with this game, we want to be pretty aggressive with how the base game is priced. I think a lot of people are expecting this, understandably, to be a very expensive solo game. Because if you look at even Dice Realms, which is one of the most recent interchangeable dice games to come out, that game costs $125.
Probably why I haven't played it.
Yeah, and we're going to end up being about half that much, I expect, as far as the price goes, despite having, hundreds of cards and all these unlockables and all these dice faces and customizable dice and a tower and stuff. It's looking good. So I think people will be quite pleasantly surprised by how much this ends up costing.
Do the faces ever fall off? I guess you're only in prototype stage.
Yeah, so I have not received a final version or a hard plastic version, I should say, of the dice yet. The version that the factory sent me was a wax model, basically to showcase the shape and the fit. Yeah. And yeah, it's a weaker, it's still a plastic, I think, but a much weaker plastic. And so, yeah, I was able to successfully wear that thing down. And that's my goal with the final version, is just to take out and insert a die face a million times and make sure it's still holding up nicely. And we're definitely not going to put out a product that wears down quickly like that, because then everybody's going to be upset, and that's going to be the main talking point of the game, and that's not a good way to launch a new product.
100%, right? That I would assume that is the one component you don't want to skimp on from a production cost perspective, because that is it's exciting from a gameplay perspective, but also just from a toy perspective, it seems like it's just a fun thing.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, and the factory, they said this last version has been really good, and they sent it to me, or I think it's on the way, so I should find out pretty soon if we need to keep modifying or improving that, or if we've hit the sweet spot yet. So
beautiful. Beautiful. And do you see this dice crafting kind of system as something that you can expand complexity on in the future, possibly, if this game does well and you go into multiple expansions? Or it seems like the faces are relatively simple. It's not like they're, a math problem trying to figure out or dissect.
Yeah, the thing is, like, Peter is in love with this game system, even after spending, hundreds of hours designing it at this point and refining it. And I am likewise in love with the system, and he has plenty more ideas for how to expand it or how to do, like, follow-up games, things like that. And so, yeah, 100%. I do feel that this will end up being, out of the, over 25 releases that we have when this comes out, I think this will end up being one of our most, if not the most popular product that Bitewing Games has put out. And I expect that we're going to be supporting this for a long time. So that's the plan currently,
Beautiful.
which I'm very excited about. Yeah.
All right. Well, enough chatter. Let's get into playing this, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we'll let you take the wheel here. Let me get out of the hot seat. Actually, I'm in your way. I'm gonna be the spectator, or I'll be the game master. But
Beautiful.
You can, if you want to, kind of pick the seat, change your color up in the top right, just so it positions you nicely.
I don't even know how to. I'm like new to this whole.
You click
TTS
your name on the
thing.
top right corner, and then you say change color. Yeah, and then you click the seat at the bottom of the table. There you go. Cool. It doesn't matter too much for this game, but let's jump into it here.
Beautiful.
So basically, you have 3 turns here represented by these time tokens, which means you can roll and score the dice 3 times, and you need to hit 6 to clear this first level. So let's see if you can do it.
Pretty simple to get started, right?
Yeah, no problem. Cool. So if you did not like one or more of these dice results, you can try your luck is the name of it, which is represented by this track along the bottom and the clover. Notably, we've even updated this board, so this is even the newest version. It's going to be even more clear as far as like what you're spending and how you try your luck. But right now, it costs you 1 reroll potion to reroll one of your dice if you want to, but this is a pretty decent roll. I don't know if you need to, but you can always do that before you.
I get
score
a
your
coin
dice.
too, right?
Yeah, you get a coin.
So if I want to
deal.
lock these in, I would do that now, and then I'd move forward 2, right?
Move forward 2 because your dice totals 2. Yep, flip a token.
And then flip a token. And that's it.
That is turn 1. You are 1/3 of the way there, so that's good. You're on track.
It's beautiful how simple this game is.
Yeah.
But then it gets into all the fun upgrades. So let's hurry up and get there, I guess. I'll stop yapping.
Absolutely.
Oh, look at that roll. I'll take that.
Yes. It's easy. Easy. There's never any doubt.
That does it, right? So is there any benefit in ending early, right? I still have this 1 time token left. Does that help me now or in the future?
In this normal setup, there's no major benefit. Sometimes you may have like really good upgrades on your dice that give you multiple coins or multiple reroll potions, or certain numbers or combinations trigger cards in your tableau. And so even though you just cleared it in the second roll, you might be like, I'm going to reroll just to try to milk this round more for more rewards, right? But there are also cards that reward you for finishing early, and so it is a concept that the game plays with, but just not in the base setup.
And no benefit in overshooting, at least until you get some. I'm guessing there's some cards that will want you to overshoot, right? Okay. Yep,
there are times where you do want to overshoot, sometimes by a lot, and in this case, no benefit. So,
all right. So what's next step?
So next up, you've completed the round. You're going to get your reward, which is 3 coins in the first round of a chapter. So you're going to pull 3 coins, 3 singles out of this coin bag here, and that's looking pretty good. And then next up, we also, by the way, we updated the chapter cards. So in between the reward and the shop is an income phase. And that icon will be added. But so now you can basically collect income, either gaining more coins or gaining more potions. And the income ratio is either you get 1 potion per 5 coins, or you can choose to get 1 coin per 3 potions. It's up to you.
And I can't see the market before I make that decision.
Right.
Okay. So I'm notoriously bad at rolling dice. So that's 5 for 1, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Beautiful.
And one thing I should note before we forget, before we get into the shop and all the cards that will distract us, is we already have the first boss looming here. Which this is the first time anybody's seen the Fearsome Fossilum here. We just added this to the the TTS deck. So these fossils, this was actually kind of hard for the first round. So hopefully we can get through it. But basically, that symbol at the top. That means results, okay? And we are actually adding that to the result rows over here, these cards that go 0 through 6 on the left-hand side. So that'll be on there as well. So whenever you see that symbol, that's talking about the result of your dice that you score before you trigger any cards that, you know, mess with your score even more. So what this is saying is you're going to subtract 1 every turn from your dice results. And that can affect which row triggers as well.
Oh, so it's applied before row trigger.
Yep, and that's why we have this special symbol here. That's what, that's what it means as far as result goes. So let's talk
at least
about
it's not
result.
the other side.
yeah. The enraged boss. That's one you face off against as in the very last round of the game.
Okay.
Luckily, you don't have to face off against them here. So, yeah. So that's something to keep in mind as we go into the shop phase. But anyways, we can move down there. So what you're going to want to do is flip 1 card from each shop deck face up and just put it right below. Yep. And you have $7 to spend. You could buy 1 or more cards. If you don't like 1 or more of these cards, or let's say you buy 1 and don't like the others, but you want to keep spending money, you can also refresh the shop. And it works just like trying your luck where you re-roll 1 die. The first time you refresh the shop, it costs you 1 coin. And then you move this tracker up. And then the second time, it costs you 2 coins. And then so on. And that resets at the end of this round. So, but let's see what options you got here.
All right. First up, it looks like we have a scroll.
Yeah, so scrolls are one-time use items that can really bail you out of trouble. Notably, you start with this red scroll up here. That's kind of the standard starting scroll that you can spend at any time to add 5 to your score. So let's say you just have an unbelievably unlucky round of rolling dice and you're just shy of clearing the marker. That's a good time to spend your scroll. But you can have 1 scroll of each color. So if you want, you can buy this one, which lets you set your red die to any side. So that's another way to kind of help you out. If you're only rolling zeros or you need something exactly, that can be very nice. And I'd say it's even nicer against this boss here, who's going to subtract 1 from your dice total. So you can kind of, it lets you manipulate the final result.
If I can keep it until the boss. Because, right, it's one-time use are the scrolls, right?
One-time use. Yeah. You got it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about a pickaxe?
Pickaxe. So what you'll notice here in the top left corner, it's got a gear symbol. That represents equipment. And so there are different kinds of equipment. Pickaxe is one of those. And when you buy equipment, this is where you slot it into one of your dice rows. These rows have different numbers of slots available. So this topmost 0 to 1 row has 4 cards or 4 slots that you can fit. So if you buy this, it'll go up there. And in this case, pickaxes just have an ongoing effect, or they trigger at certain times. This one triggers when you're shopping. So right now, actually, if you were to spend $7 on this, then for the rest of the game, as long as you have this card, you flip face up 2 or 1 extra, basically Sadie Snake Eyes green card. And so it just gives you more shopping options, which is definitely nice long term. The downside right now is that costs all of your money, so you can't get anything else. So
yeah, that seems like a luxury that I probably can't afford here.
Maybe not, yeah.
You know, and then the book.
The book. So a book is another type of card, and it does not get slotted into your it doesn't have the equipment symbol, right? But it's what you'll notice is it has Sir Pipsqueak in this case looking like a die on the book, and then it has one of these dice faces. So what it's saying is that on these Sir Pipsqueak die, you can swap out any of these faces except for his face. You can swap out any of these faces for another one. And what you'll notice is these go 0, 1, 1, 2, 2 on his particular die. So you could swap out, for example, the 0, and it just increases just ever so slightly the average. But when you do roll this exact face, you're definitely glad when you've purchased something like that. So
yeah, I mean, we're here to build dice, right? So I think I have to, buy that out of the gates, and I think. I would, of course I do the 0, right?
That's going to help you again for the boss we're facing off against. You want to kind of increase your dice total so that you don't lose. Because
Right.
if the minus, let's say your result is a 0, you roll 0 among all 3 dice, then it subtracts 1, and that just means you don't score at all. You ignore negative results, so you just burn a turn and nothing happens. And yeah, so it can be real bad. So yeah, that's a good upgrade. I like that, especially for 1 coin. So you can buy more cards, or you can refresh the shop.
Yeah, well, this one feels pretty good, so I'm gonna go with that. Whoops.
I do like that too, especially for 2 coins. Those are 2 pretty good buys for especially early in the game when you just need to get past these initial rounds.
And I think holding off, keeping my cash for the future is probably the right thing right now.
Yeah, makes sense. So that concludes this round. If you're done, you could, as you said, implied, you can refresh the shop and try shopping more. But at that point, you spend a coin to do it. You only have 3 left, so it makes sense to keep your coins. We are on to round 2. Yeah, that resets. We move your score, your target up to 7. And yeah, you got 3 turns again to hit that. So
beautiful.
Let's see if you can do it.
Let's pause on a question real quick. So the art here, as you're showing these cards, I think you've mentioned it, Cuphead art style. You really liked. I love Townsfolk Tussle. It was a Grail game just for the art. I imagine this beautiful art actually costs more to get onto the game. Like, how do you balance that need for high quality art and cost and actually trying to make money on the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think for any particular project, most publishers, if they're like me, they kind of have a price range where they're like, okay, generally it's smart to keep the art budget within this range, right? And on the higher end, you have more tolerance for a higher budget if you know that the game's going to sell for more. So for example, what's funny is like to get the background artist of Cuphead, Caitlin Russell, to do the art for both this and Eureka, like on her end, she's doing basically the same amount of work for both of the box covers. They're slightly different shapes, but it's basically the same amount of hours. And so she's going to charge roughly the same price. So we definitely feel that more in a smaller, cheaper game like Eureka compared to a more expensive and higher margin game like Rolling Deep. But yeah, honestly, my philosophy is that the artwork is one of the most useful and effective marketing tools that publishers have. And so if you are not investing in really good artwork for a game, you're just missing out on having a much broader appeal and getting people interested straight from the get-go. But what's interesting to me is like you look at European publishers, especially German publishers, and their philosophy is like the exact opposite.
Right.
They're like, we want the art budget to be as small and like non-impactful as possible.
We're going to use the same beige background every time.
Yeah, like their version of Rolling Deep might be just like dice exploding out of a one color background, you know,
right.
coming off the screen, if you will, off the box. And like, yeah, I can understand like if that game doesn't blow up, they saved a lot of money on artwork. If it does blow up, they still saved a lot of money on artwork. And but I don't know, part of my passion for being a publisher and part of what's, keeps me publishing way too many games at a far too fast pace is I just love seeing games come to life and being part of that process. So it's been really fun to especially for this game with all these unique boss characters and the dice head characters and the watercolor Cuphead style rubber hose animation art. It's just been a blast. I'm a huge fan of Cuphead as well. So.
Yeah, it's so cool. And that's what drew me initially. I just was speaking to Jay Bernardo of Bezier Games and Cardboard East, and he said the number one most important aspect of a game is the box cover more than the gameplay. Do you agree with that?
Oh yeah. I mean, people will judge a game by its cover all the time, right? And people will shop based on, or they'll click on things based on seeing the box cover first and then going down the rabbit hole of learning what the game's about, right? And like even a lot of us shop online or online retailers, or if you walk into a friendly local game store, right? What are you going to see? You're going to see the front of the box, and there's so many boxes in there that they're all competing based on their artwork first and foremost. So yeah, it makes total sense that that's the most important thing.
So you're willing to blow a large chunk of your budget on art if you think it's going to kind of take the theme to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, you end up with artwork that moves the needle, right? I think, 10 years ago, it was much easier to stand out with having invested in artwork more than, other publishers. Today, I think most publishers have caught on to the fact that like, hey, we need we need to invest more in artwork because everybody's doing it. Most games look really good these days, and so if we're not doing that, then we're just going to be written off by a lot of gamers, a significant chunk of potential customers, right?
Beautiful. Is there a lot of individual card art, or is there a lot of duplicates in the cards?
The so with these shop cards, we've kind of condensed it down to there's maybe like 8-ish or 7-ish types of cards, and that consistency of image is really helpful for instantly knowing like, oh, this is what this type of card does. Like I just explained, like books upgrade your dice, and pickaxes will trigger effects, and scrolls are one-time use. So like we found that that's really helpful. I've played games where the same type of card has unique art on every copy of that card, and it becomes much harder to figure out like, oh, what is this card for, right? So I think it's the shop deck benefits by having consistent artwork, but then in the boss art and the chapter cards and the discovery cards, you'll see more variety. Like all of the bosses, all 20 bosses here are unique characters, unique art. We even gave them names now. This is the Fearsome Fossilum, as I mentioned. So yeah, we definitely like to splurge in areas where it's allowed, and there's definitely more artwork you're going to discover and unlock in the behind the achievements.
Hey, you. This episode is sponsored by Cardboard. Cardboard is my community app. I built it all by myself. Nobody else is in the midst of this, so technically it's actually not sponsored, but I could use your help. If you want to support this channel, if you want to support this series, or if you want to support Cardboard, the best way to do that is to go to crdbrd.app. There's lots of awesome stuff. You can become a member. If anything, there's just a really cool rules wizard. There's over 9,000 games that you can go ask questions about right now, and it will give you the answer. Among other things, there's tons of stuff I'm continuing to build. An iOS app is coming as well. So to support me, go check it out. Joining's free to support everything I do. Become a member. $5 a month will not only support the development of the app, but it also supports what I'm doing right here, right now, having incredible conversations with people from around the industry. And now back to the show. All right, let's see if I can hit 7 here. It won't be here, but let's see if I can make it there. Ooh, okay. Well then,
just one. Yeah.
And I get a reroll token. So that's an interesting one. Like it'll allow me in the future to reroll something else. I'm going for 7 though. I have nothing that's activating here. I don't know. What would you say? Should I spend 1 now and reroll this green maybe?
Yeah, I mean, so you have a 50-50 chance of the green has, face is a 0, 0, 0. So you have a 50-50 chance of rolling another 0. But I mean, I'd rather roll this one over this one just because that gives you a potion. So.
Yeah, right. Like it's essentially a wash because I'm getting 1 anyways. Let's do it.
Nice.
Hey,
yeah,
there we go. So we'll take a coin.
Yep.
Whoops. And we'll go ahead. What was that? 2?
Yep.
And then flip.
And you get a reroll potion as well from the Gary die, the purple die.
Get that right back. All right.
That's great. And normally, because you rerolled, your cost would go up to 2. So if you wanted to reroll again this turn, it costs you 2 potions.
And when does that reset?
It resets every turn, so it goes back to 1 right now.
Oh, so I'm good.
Yeah, so you're good. So it is better to kind of spread out your rerolls, if that makes sense.
When I first started playing this, I was excited about those faces, but I don't have any effect on those faces.
Not yet. Maybe later.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got another 2 here for your second roll.
But then I'm almost out of time after this. I think I better reroll. I guess technically my best chance right now is red, right?
Yeah, red inherently starts out with a higher value on it across its faces, and you
plus
upgraded it with another 1. So you only have 1 0, and that's what you rolled here.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's something else.
Beautiful. Let's try that again. All right. I think I'm going to take that. I don't want to keep spending expensive rerolls here. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And I've just got to get 2 on the next one. That shouldn't be too hard. And plus I have my scroll. If I get in trouble, I have 2 scrolls that could save me. So my game won't at least end here.
Yeah, you're guaranteed, but hopefully you don't have to burn things to get there.
Exactly. All right, let's see. Hopefully you tuned the rolling for the content creator luck, so we can have a little bit of a longer game.
That's right. Be sad to end prematurely. Huh?
Hey,
you barely got it.
We hit it. We hit it. We'll take that, right? So that's what, 5?
5 for your reward. Now you take your interest. So that's either you're going to get 2 potions or 1 coin.
That's what I was always forgetting my interest whenever I was playing the couple rounds earlier.
Yeah, that's why we've added it to the new version of the chapter card, so it'll be there.
5. So I would get 2 potions, right? Is that what you said? Because it's 10 coins.
Yeah, you have 2 sets of 5. Yes, that's pretty solid. All right, and we're on to shopping. So one last chance to get ready for this fearsome fossilum.
Oh, that's coming up? Oh yeah, I guess it's at the end of each of those cards. Round. Yeah. Okay, well let's get some good stuff here.
So this is a new type we haven't talked about yet. This is a consumable card. Okay, it's very much like a scroll, except you use it right away. The scrolls you can save for when you need them. This one you use right away. Okay, so this one gives you 2 mushrooms to each row with none. Mushrooms is another thing we have not talked about yet, but they're very helpful. So mushrooms in a row, they're like stored scoring power. That's a good way of thinking of it, but they do deteriorate over time as you use them. So if you were to add 2 to each row, then let's say you roll this result next turn, you're going to score 2, except your result is -1 with this guy. So now you're down to just your result is 1. But if you have mushrooms there, then that adds 1, 2 to your score result. So your result is 1, but you score 1 from the result plus 2 from the mushrooms. And so you're going up 3 instead of 1. And then anytime you use mushrooms, you have to destroy 1 of them. And so then that will be weaker next time you hit that result row again. But that is not a bad option for you right now. So that's worth considering.
Yeah,
for sure.
I love mushrooms. I did get an effect that allowed me to do the same thing. It might have been the same card, and that was very helpful. So I think that's probably the case. I have 10 here. I'm kind of looking at this guy. Tell me about this one.
Yeah, so this one, like a pickaxe does, this one will just trigger as it specifies. So it's saying anytime you roll triples, that's saying 3 of the same number or 3 character faces. And it doesn't matter if, let's say the number also has a bonus on it. This still counts as triples, even though one has a coin on it as well. So if you were to roll triples, then you get +3 added to your roll or your score, basically. So that bumps your score marker up 3 extra. So if you can roll or re-roll your way into triples, it's very powerful.
And does that, can you mix zeros and faces, or faces are their separate thing even though they're zeros?
Yeah, it's a good question. Faces are their own thing. So this is a triple, this is not.
Beautiful. Okay. And I can place this in any result trigger.
Yep, you can place it in any. What you'll notice is the top row has more options. The lower rows have less. And
you can't
it really
move
doesn't
them, right?
matter. Yeah, as far as the pickaxe goes, it doesn't care where it's at. So you can put it anywhere. But yeah, once you put it in a spot, you normally can't move it around unless another effect tells you.
So in that case, it's better off in the 0 to 1. As I get more powerful, the chances of me rolling 0 to 1 are slim.
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, I guess.
And you've got lots of extra room up there.
Yeah. So I'm gonna buy that, and then I do like mushrooms, so I'm also gonna get this mushroom card and add 2 mushrooms every row.
Yeah, that's solid. This other one would give you coins each time you try your luck, but coins are not going to help you win the next round, right? So
no.
Understandably, you're going for the power route. So.
And is trying your luck just re-rolling? Is that what that is? Every time I re-roll, I get coins?
Yep, you re-roll 1 die. That's the normal try your luck action. There are other try your luck actions you can unlock if you buy certain cards, but
interesting. Yeah. All right. So now we're on 8. I have to hit, huh?
Now we're on 8, and that means this boss is in play. So whenever you score your dice, that dice result is going to be -1, which affects which row of mushrooms, basically, in this case, you are going to use.
All right.
Yeah.
Wish me luck.
Yeah, good luck.
All right, so now it's
All
only
right.
a 1. That doesn't feel particularly good. If I reroll
You almost have
purple
triples.
and hit a 1, that would be huge, right?
That would
So
be nice.
I think that's what I'm going to probably do here is
Yeah, we're praying for a 1.
see what we get.
Oh,
Oh, I will
very
take
nice.
that and a coin.
Yes.
Love it. So that's 3 plus 3, right? A -1 is
Yep.
5. And if I
Yep.
had a 6 card down here, it would not activate because that total was reduced by the boss.
So, yeah, it's broken up a little bit more than that. So basically, you're scoring your dice right now, okay? And
Okay.
your result is 3.
Oh, okay.
Your dice result right now is 3. So that gets you a coin, and you would normally move up 3. But in this case, your result is -1. So you're going to move up 2 on the track. And now we're looking at, okay, which result row do we trigger based on that? And that is going to be the 2 to 3. So next thing you trigger is the mushrooms.
Oh, I forgot about the mushrooms.
Yeah, so you've got 2 mushrooms here. That's going to add 2 more to your score. So that's going to bump you up to 4 now because your result was 3 minus 1 plus 2 from the mushrooms. Whenever you use a mushroom, you destroy 1. Boom. And now we're going to trigger any equipment cards that influence your score even further. So in that case, yeah, that's where we look at the pickaxes first. And yeah, +3 to each roll with triples. So you're going to go up 3 more. 1, 2, 3.
Oh boy.
So just like that, you are 1 away from clearing this level.
This
Feeling
game's
pretty
too
good.
easy. Are you sure it's balanced
Too
right?
easy. Maybe I should stop helping you out.
Yeah, right. Exactly. All right. Well, that's a win.
Yeah.
Right.
So for the sake of yeah, that's plenty to clear the boss, right? So for the sake
Right.
of finishing it out, we'll
Yeah.
do it all properly here.
Yeah.
So your results. Yeah, I'll let you walk through it here. Make sure
So
you got it.
results are 3 minus 1, right? So
Yep.
I go up 2.
You go 2.
And
Now you take your bonuses from the
okay.
dice.
So 1 potion, 1 coin. All right. So then
And-
that result is 2. So it triggered this. So that
And you
gets
do have
put
to
away.
spend it even though you don't need to.
Yeah.
So that adds 1 more. And then, yeah, you didn't roll triples. This is where you
Nope.
check, any cards that I triggered as well. Nope. So that's it. But that's all you needed. So.
All right. Beautiful. But I don't get
Excellent.
to shop this time. Should I still be excited?
You do. No,
Oh,
you
I
do shop.
I do
Yeah,
both.
so your reward, instead of just taking 3 or 5 coins, you're going to take one of these discovery cards. So go ahead and draw the top card and flip it. Let's see what you got here. Excellent. So usually discovery cards give you 2 options, okay? In this case, and often, one option is just get 7 coins, which is great on its own. But this other option is also fantastic. This is saying you can take 1 extra time token, which represents an extra turn that you have for the rest of the game.
Whoa. That seems pretty crazy.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't. I think this is content creator luck. So I think I'm
It is,
gonna
yeah.
I'm gonna take this extra time for sure.
Yeah, I would say this is probably one of the best discovery cards in the game. So you've already started off on a very
You did shuffle it. I
strong
did
foot.
see you shuffle the deck
Yeah.
before I got that.
Yeah, I shoved it right before you drew. So that's sweet destiny, baby.
Okay, I'll take it. Let's do it.
So obviously you don't get a money reward, but you still do take your interest right now. So yeah, I guess before you peek at those,
Oh,
would
yeah,
you rather have 1 coin or 1 potion for your interest?
Let's go with the coin this time.
Yeah, you didn't get coins from the rewards, so that makes
No.
sense. Okay.
All right, another scroll, but I already have a purple, so I would have to discard that, right?
Yeah, not ideal.
No. And then, what's this bag here?
That's the consumable. So this would add 4 mushrooms to your 0 to 1 roll.
Oh, geez.
Meaning you only use, like, it's really good. You would score, if you roll a 0 to 1 result, in that case, you would add 6 at that point, right? The 2 that you already have, mushrooms plus 4 more, which is strong, but you have to roll a 0 to 1 result to use them, right?
I love this pickaxe, though.
Yeah, honestly,
That's-
exactly. It gives you all the more reason to synergize your dice and your rolls for triples. So
All right.
that's my favorite of these options too.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for. So that's going to be 5 And I'm just going to place that back up here, I guess. I'm still going with the, hopefully I'm not rolling the 0 to 1 very often and need that spot for something that, and what type of card triggers off of specific spots, since these happen all the time?
Yeah, those don't care. They're called wands, and there are a lot of wands in the deck. But what's funny is I recorded an advanced playthrough of this that I'm going to post on YouTube soon, and the exact same thing happened, but for like the whole game, where I saw very, very few wands, and I ended up with an interesting build where I had no wands at all. But it is very common to slot wands into these rows, and then they only trigger if you roll that result row. But they're also typically quite powerful because of that. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, so when you first saw this game, it wasn't this theme, right? It was Alembic with the Alchemy theme. How the heck did you make it to this? And do you retheme a lot of the games that you sign?
Yeah, I'd say at least 90% of the games that get pitched to me end up getting rethemed.
Really?
And there are some like Gold Country had the exact same theme, although notably the older version of that game from Knizia had a different theme, but he himself rethemed it before pitching it to me with the Gold Rush theme. So it does happen. And like Cascadero is another example. We didn't retheme that at all. But most of the games that we've published have been rethemed. Yeah. And Alembic is an interesting one, right? Like Balatro itself isn't a very it's cool, and it's, you know, it makes sense that it's kind of just poker jokers is the theme of Balatro, and it has like planet cards and spectral cards and has a little bit of flavor in there as you're manipulating the types of cards, but it doesn't have much of a theme either. So when Alembic was pitched to me, I was mainly, you know, super jazzed about the gameplay and the mechanisms and the, you know, the feeling that it recreates of Balatro, and I didn't think too much about the theme initially. We knew that this solo line would have a rubber hose style animation, and could likely get the Cuphead background artist for multiple of these games. And so at first I was like, okay, are we gonna have like an Alembic device with with rubber hose limbs and a face and stuff? And like, yeah, it's very doable. I mean, that's a classic 1930s animation trick. You just kind of apply limbs and a face to an inanimate object, right? And like even Cuphead and Mugman and things like that, very similar concepts. So it was like, yeah, it's not too far out. But honestly, like the whole chemical separation of different solutions aspect just kind of felt boring. It felt like, you know, you're going up against effectively bosses, and so why aren't there like, you know, really interesting bosses or characters that you're going up against in this game? But yeah, I explained it in my very long publisher diary, but the short answer is I read Journey to the Center of the Earth a couple of years ago, and I've been wanting to use that in a board game after doing like all this research on the theme and just kind of really enjoying the ideas behind that. And I realized, yeah, this is kind of a perfect
application, right?
yeah, it's a perfect fit. Like you have 3 dice, and so why not make them like adventurers going on an ill-advised adventure and going up against these bosses? And then from there, it was pretty easy to come up with 20, you know, even more than 20 boss characters. It's just like, okay, what would you encounter underground that could be, you know, a fantastical or sinister boss? And as you can see, this first one is fossils, so which kind of look like Pokemon. I think that was part of the inspiration for the artist. But yeah, they have a nice, charming look to them for sure.
And who decided to create characters in the Sadie, Snake Eyes, Sir Pipsqueak, Gary the Accountant? Like, whose idea was that? Did that come from the art, or was that always in your view of this or your vision?
Oh yeah, early on I asked Peter like, hey, he had like zeros as the character faces, and I was like, what if one of the zeros was a character face? And like, you know, that can just be a 0 functionally, but it would look cool on the dice because then the characters themselves would have dice heads, and it just kind of all synergizes together nicely. So yeah, that was part of my idea. I mean, obviously it's inspired by Cuphead, right? I'm not going to take the credit as like, oh, I pulled this out of, you know, thin air.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I mean, they definitely have their own personality, and then we ended up, you know, we basically told Caitlin, the Cuphead background artist. Well, we asked her initially, like, hey, we know you just did the backgrounds for Cuphead. Should we find somebody else for the characters as well? And she said, I worked with those character animators so much that I feel comfortable doing it myself. And we're like, all right, sweet. Yeah, take a crack at it. And then I gave her descriptions of what each character is like. And we're like, okay, one specializes in mushrooms. One of them is very strong and one of them is very resourceful. And that's where we got Sadie, Gary, and Sir Pipsqueak, and their character designs was based on that. And you'll see that personality and that theming come through on not only the starting dice faces, but definitely in their shop decks as well.
Beautiful. That's cool. All right.
Yeah.
So now where are we? As I sidetracked us, I won.
Yeah.
I bought cards.
Yeah, you won.
We're ready to roll, right?
You bought cards. Oh yeah, we're on to the next round. So this is the point where we get rid of this boss you defeated and see what the next one is. Ooh, we got Wobbles Oops a lot here. So this one's interesting. You cannot re-roll character faces. So if you roll them, you are stuck with them. And currently, that's not ideal because those are effectively zeros for you.
I sure would like to find a card that helps me with those faces.
That would be the ideal to prepare for this boss, right?
Okay.
So we'll see if you can do it. But
all right. No other upkeep. I'm done.
Yeah.
All right. Did I actually roll those?
No, that was weird. Yeah, I would do it again. There you go.
All right. Cool. 110. That's not awful. I do have the triple that I'm going to go for.
Yeah, if you want to. Yeah, if you can make some money, $5 off of a triple, you're going to get an economy going very quickly if you can pull this off.
Yeah, let's see here.
Oh, wow.
You pushed the button
Dice
at the
are
right
loving
time,
you.
right? Yeah. You pushed,
yeah, that's right.
You hit that one at the right time. Okay. So
yeah,
that's 3, right? So I start by going forward 3, and then I get my rewards.
Yep.
And then I do these, right?
Yeah, you would do mushrooms. Don't have any mushrooms in the 2 to 3 row because
right.
result. So don't worry about that. Now we're on to the equipment. So yeah, you do these just left to right in order. So
plus, and the order is important in the game. On doing
sometimes
these
it is.
right?
In this case, it is not, but sometimes it is for sure. Yeah.
All right. Then I'm gonna be rich here.
Yeah. Feeling good.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this
one
game.
Turn.
Oh, and I forgot I have 4.
Yeah, and you have an extra turn, so yeah, things are looking good.
Oh boy, did you see that roll?
that's a good roll, yeah.
All right, well, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You could try to roll for that last 2, but there's only 1 2 on this purple die, so it may not be worth the expenditure of potions.
That is true. So like the cost benefit is really it's to get. I don't get the full benefit because it's to get coins, but I also don't get the full benefit because I don't need to go any higher. I'm going to stay there for now. I'm not going to be greedy.
Yeah, but it's worth noting, like sometimes, and I agree, I don't think it's necessarily worth doing right now, but sometimes it is worth being greedy like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you finish scoring it here, you cleared that. You do trigger the 4 to 5 row, which means you have to burn a mushroom, essentially.
Oh, that's a good reminder. That's something I would have forgotten by myself and never known.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is one of those games where there's a lot of individual steps, but once you get in the flow of it, especially after playing a few games, like it's very easy to remember. There are going to be some handy player aid cards too, where initially you're like, oh shoot, what's the next step? You just check that, and it keeps you moving along. So
beautiful. All right. So I get 3 coins, huh?
3 coins. Yes.
1, 2, 3, and. Oh, no,
and
I have to choose your
interest.
Yep, I keep going past that. So I could take 2 rerolls. And I want those rerolls because I want to try to get triples as much as possible.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Beautiful.
And triples and those rerolls hopefully give you more coins, so they'll be synergistic, right, with the card you got there. Oh man,
I want
this
a wand.
Is wild.
Is it?
You got another triples card that came out. There's not a ton of these in the decks, so the fact that you've seen a third one and you bought the first 2, like that's a pretty good synergy.
And then look at that die face too. Oh,
these are all really good.
Then the wand at 7. That is so tough.
But you do have $12, so you got options here.
Yeah, I do. I do have options. It's hard for me to not pull the extra die face just because that's what this is all about. But then, like the synergy there is just insane.
The other thing is, yeah, if you can, I mean, your Pipsqueak die has no zeros on it, right? So if your other dice are rolling zeros, you're not getting triples. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you can clear out the zeros on your other dice, this is another way to improve your triple strategy. Both
this
these
is
are
good.
This one's just straight up good, right?
Yeah, right. So. I can't have all three.
Yeah.
Oh no. I'm gonna go all in on the triple strategy here. So
I love it.
We're going 5. We're gonna put this up here, and then I'm gonna go 3 more.
I was just mentioning to Peter the other day, like across my dozens and dozens of plays of this game, I've never had like a really heavy triple strategy. So it's so funny that we're going in on it here.
I actually love that this is happening, because this is what I love about games. Especially, I love starting asymmetry, but I also love kind of dynamic asymmetry that shows itself throughout the game and allows you to really invest into something. This might be just a ridiculous coincidence, but this is the type of. This is what I love in games with powers and abilities. I don't know. It's awesome.
Yeah, and it's honestly worth noting, like, this is one of the best starting polls I've ever seen in a basic game that you're having right now, as far as like extra turn, all triple strategy. It's like, man, you can build these kind of synergies, but usually it takes most of the game to get there. You're doing it on the 4th round of the game,
which is kind of insane, right?
Out of 15. Yeah, this is nuts. So it's pretty awesome.
How do I flip this to 1? I guess I could just do the rotation value.
Yeah, you press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 when you're hovering.
Oh, there we go.
It takes you to like side 2, basically. So,
beautiful. So I need to find the side that has, what is this? Oh, 2 coins in a 1. That is huge.
Yeah, that's so good.
How do I flip that?
Here, I can help you out here.
Yeah.
That is this one has 2 coins on it. So, yeah.
Beautiful.
All right. Excellent. Man, all triple strategy. I love it. This is going to be great. We're going to be crushing it.
Too easy. Too easy.
Like I said, I mean,
but I love it, though.
I'm feeling really good about this game right away. Or I'm feeling really good about your run right away. Most people take multiple attempts to win their first game. So,
yeah. Well, I've been blessed with some pretty incredible rolls here. So,
indeed.
All right, so we are at incredible 12 now, right? And you got that. That's reset. Yeah. Let's keep going.
Good to go. Okay.
You know what I'm going to do next, right?
Of course.
You know what's happening next.
It only costs 1 potion. Why wouldn't you?
I know. Like, come on.
Oh man! Wow, you can't miss. It's so good. That
Please
was like
tell me that's a 1 shot here.
That was a 1 in 3 chance that you'd get a 1, and you pulled it off first try. That was great.
Yeah,
wow.
I'm really good at board games. It turns out.
The best. All right,
so +3, and then my reward here is 1 coin.
Yep.
All right. Oh, not that card.
There you go. I got you.
I was getting really greedy then.
Yeah.
So, and then I get +3, +5 coins.
Oh,
and
this might be something. We got so caught up in your triple strategy. This is going to add it to this row. Which
so whatever row I want. Okay.
Whatever row you put this card in. So
right. Yeah. Are you going to let me go back on it?
Yeah. I think if we're interpreting that correctly, this is probably what you're least likely to roll, right? And the mushrooms here even have a little history to them. Like, you've rolled this the most and this the second most.
Yes.
And you've
that's going to be a sliding scale, right? Like, as I upgrade those dice, I would imagine if I want to think ahead on my run that maybe 4 to 5, but I don't know. That's a tough one. I might go cold on my dice rolls. So, maybe we'll throw it there. So that's going to then activate. We're going to activate this one first, right?
Yeah, you just go row by row, left to right.
1, 2, 3. So. And then 5 coins. I'm rich.
So good.
And then here, and I didn't have the mushrooms before on the 3 results, so nothing goes away. And I flip that. I reset this, and I'm good to go, right?
Yeah, I really can't emphasize how good of a setup you have. Like, look at these cards. These are from all 3 decks, okay? And out of the 50 cards in each deck, you pull the ones that synergize with each other, right? So like, this is so good. Anyways, continue.
Maybe I'll go cold here. Oh, nope, I won't.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and keep that roll too. I'm not going to be greedy.
Okay. I mean, you could.
That's 4. Yeah, I know. 2, 3, 4. I've just got to get 2 more. And then what I get there was that's 1 coin. Oh, I think I already gave myself the coin, right?
Mm-hmm. And you trigger the mushroom.
Oh, right. So then that was a result of 4. That goes back. This goes up. So all I need is 1. But of course I want triples.
Yeah. More money, baby. Oh, see? It's right there. It's always tempting you.
Yeah, I'm going for it.
Sure.
Like, how crazy is that? Is that nuts?
No, you can always get those potions back with interest. So, wow. This is bonkers. Man.
I will take it.
You have wow. You haven't even upgraded. So that, yeah, it was again a 1 in 3 chance and you nailed it. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
good.
1, 2, 3. And then I take the 1 coin.
Mm-hmm.
I activate.
And you do the mushrooms.
The mushrooms. So that's 2 more. 1, 2. Get rid of a mushroom.
And you do all the pickaxes that apply.
Then all the pickaxes. And do I start up here in the pickaxes? That still matters. Okay.
You start at the top row and go down, and you go left to right within each row.
All right. 1, 2, 3, up to 18, and then another 5, and then 2 mushrooms.
Ridiculous.
Because we rolled a 3. All right.
Cool.
Well, I'm talking to Peter tomorrow. Maybe I need to talk about balance with him a little bit.
There you go. Yeah, we need to throw you in the deep end with the advanced mode for sure.
Right. So what is the advanced mode?
The advanced mode, we'll jump over to it real quick. So the backside of each of these chapter cards, the numbers go higher faster. Okay. So instead of 6, 7, 8, it goes 6, 8, 10. And let's see, we just had a round on 10 and then 12. Those go 12 and then 15. So yeah, things go up quickly. I mean, you have a good build right now. You have a good build for that even, but I think we would have struggled a lot more in the first round on advanced mode. So
okay. All right, I'm sure the next time when I try advanced mode, I'll just be rolling zeros and really quickly.
Yes,
that's
got to bring balance to the universe.
Yeah, that's the way these things go. All right, so I took my income here, and now I have to. What is it called?
Are you sure? Did you take your 5 for? You got another 5 for this.
Oh no, I did not take my 5 for this.
Your 5 for
no,
that.
I didn't.
You have a lot of cash.
There is some cash. I might be able to buy all 3 cards.
Probably. And then you can take interest. So that's going to be either 4 potions or 1 more coin.
Let's go with 4 potions.
Yeah, easy choice, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay, we're into shopping.
We're going to start. I like to stack the 3s here, so.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, shopping it is. Oh, boy. Okay, well, so now I can synergize with a double roll. So I won't have to spend potions all the time. Or I can just
and notably,
get more potions.
Yeah, if you roll a triple, that does not count as a double, even though there's a double within it. So it's like it's one or the other, basically.
Right.
Oh yeah, that gets you potions. This one could be a nice upgrade for the purple scroll that you currently have.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely going here. I mean, that's for sure. I think 2 to 3 is gonna. It probably makes sense to keep it there. I guess.
Yeah, that seems to be your average typically.
Yeah, it does right now. And I don't see, there's no more die face upgrades. So that cost me 7. And
first wand.
Yeah, first wand. I like that. And then we're going to spend 5 here. And I'm just going to, I don't know. So you know the money economy. Is this just a ridiculous amount to kind of carry over?
I mean, you have a good engine that's generating you $5 every time you roll triples, and it seems like, we're hitting that at like half of your rolls.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, the question is like, do I think I can generate a bunch of money quickly, and should I just blow it right now? Like, yeah, it's up to you.
Yeah. I think that's probably true. Let's go.
But the other benefit of keeping your money though is it generates you more potions as income, right? So that's the other thing worth considering.
You know what? I'm going to be conservative. You talked me out of it. Okay. That's a good consideration. Whoops.
Yeah. There's usually not a clear answer, right? Like sometimes it's like, well, that card would be really good because you can set a pair and maybe that'll get me to a triple, but also more potions is good too. So
Yep. I'll take it. So I jumped way ahead there. We're resetting.
Yep, and you are facing off against Wobbles Oops a lot. So
yeah,
you cannot re-roll faces.
Okay. I feel confident.
But you can still get a little bit around that with your purple scroll where you can setting is not re-rolling, right? So you can set the red die to any side you want, even if it starts out as a face. So
and most people would have used that red scroll by now, right?
In the basic game, it depends. You know, it really comes down to like sometimes you just have a really bad round and you just cannot roll what you need to save your life, and that's where the red scroll bails you out. Sometimes that happens early, sometimes that happens late. If this were the advanced game, yeah, we probably wouldn't have any scrolls right now.
Yeah,
we wouldn't have those two. I'm guessing.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah.
All right, let's see. Oh, whoa, that's 3, and I get some stuff.
Get the variety pack.
I do get the variety pack. I could roll for a double, which would then give me a +2.
But you do have 3 mushrooms in your 2 to 3 row, so it's already +3 if you keep it on that row.
Yeah, that's a good consideration. So let's keep it. We'll take the 3 out of the gates. I get another potion and another coin.
2 coins.
2. Oh, that's the double coin. I can't see that far.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
That's that fancy one you upgraded. So
it is the fancy. And then we're going to go up another 3 to 6, kill a mushroom, and do it again. Oh, and I'm going to flip this.
Yeah, and then you would do your cards. So no triples, no doubles, but you did roll into this row, which triggers the wand there.
Oh, that's a good one as well. All right.
So you made a lot of bonuses off that turn. That was pretty nice.
Yeah, I'll take it. Oh boy.
There you go. You got a pair. That's a solid roll.
Yeah, we got a pair. The question is, are we greedy and we go for the triple? And you know what? I have so many. I'm just gonna go. I'm going nuts.
Might as well.
We're gonna go.
We're gonna go. 1/6
for,
chance though.
Yeah.
Really
I'm feeling pretty lucky.
Oh my gosh! Unbelievable. Wow.
Oh,
well, there you have it.
So beautiful. We're gonna put that there. So that's 6. I don't get any extra bonuses off of these 2, so you know there is that. And I don't have any face die, right? So 4, 5, 6. Okay, so now mushrooms are next. That's 6. So I did get 2 more. Oh boy, this is just this is ridiculous. All
you
right,
are blasting past this, yeah.
I am. And then another 3, and then a 5 here, and then 2 more. No, well, the mushrooms do. Yes, they just have to be here, right?
Yeah, it's saying you had 2 mushrooms to this row whenever you score triples, which you just did. So,
and that was a 6, so that doesn't activate, and we are, just rolling along.
Yeah, you took down Wobbles, no problem. Just the most pathetic ghost attempt I've ever seen. So well done.
Yeah. So now I grab this here. Oh, 7 coins or +111 to 1 row. What is that?
This is another very, very good discovery card. So we haven't updated the actual token yet, but this is basically saying this is making whatever row you add these to, it adds 3 more to your score anytime you score that row. So it's real good.
That is pretty ridiculous. Well, I guess we'll do that, and I get to pick any row, or how does that work?
Yep, it says 1 row, so you pick any 1 row to add all 3 of these to. So it's just going to add.
And that's
it's
forever.
Buff that row by 3.
The rest of the time. Oh boy.
Yeah, these are like a permanent upgrade. So
it's like
pretty solid.
It has to all be on the same row.
Yep.
All right.
It's basically like a mushroom that you never lose. Think of it that way. So
let's do that there. Okay.
So good. Wow. And then you get your interest.
Income. Yeah, or interest. Yes. 5. So that's 3 potions if I want them, or 3 coins, which I don't need the coins. So I'm just going to take 3 more of those.
Sweet.
Oh, boy. So tell me a little bit about the locked treasure boxes. You don't open until instructed. Is it's like legacy style, but it's not legacy? Like how does this work in the game?
Yeah, a bit. I think, solo games have different ways of getting people to come back and play them more, right? And it's somewhat similar to cooperative games too. And I think the classic original way of doing that was just like beat your high score, you know, or like, hey, here's some different score thresholds. If you reach this threshold, then we're going to give you this backhanded compliment
Mhm.
because
Right.
you did mediocre, you know. Um, and like to me, that's not a huge draw to replaying a game, either from a cooperative or from a solo perspective. So the way that Balatro approaches it, and a lot of roguelikes, and the way that Peter decided to approach it was with this unlockable achievement system. So what that means is like first achievement you pull out of the box is like it's a big tuck box and it says open this box after you win the game. And so you win the game and you just start pulling things out and you're like, oh boy, there's a lot more to this game than I realized, despite the, you know, me just barely scratching the surface of all this card variety I already have. And then part of what comes out of that box is more achievements. And if you complete those achievements, then you unlock more stuff. And it's just like this rabbit hole of content where I still haven't, after playing this game, you know, dozens and dozens of times, over 100 hours, you know, racking up all these plays, I still haven't unlocked everything despite considering myself like an expert player. Some of these achievements, when you get really into the weeds, they are gnarly. You have to
Really?
like, you really have to stretch your strategy and your builds towards something just really wacky, and then it unlocks some really cool stuff, and so it's worth doing, you know. And you're trying to win the game
That's fun.
while conforming to these various rule sets that or these requirements that the achievements give you. So and it's possible to unlock, you know, if you have like the world's best run and those achievements are available to you, you can unlock multiple at once. I've had some runs where I unlocked like 7 achievements. It was just like insane, just popping off multiple things at once, and like the stars aligned, you know, kind of like what you're having here.
Yeah.
And just having an insanely good run. And what's cool is like, even if you're getting really lucky and you're having a really good run, I'll often be looking at the achievements that are I haven't reached yet, and I'm like, okay, I feel a little more comfortable going for this much harder achievement, which puts me, you know, I have to stretch my neck out more, or I have to be a little more risky with how I play. I think I can pull it off with this current build, you know? And so there's almost a meta game that you're playing outside of the game itself. And yeah, it definitely keeps you coming back again and again. It's worked for me. I've played this game multiple times in a day, or, you know, a bunch of times in a week, and still don't get tired of it. So it's fun.
And the things that are coming out of the box, presumably they're exciting enough to make me want to do the odd achievement. I say odd for lack of a better term, but do the specialized achievement to go and get
Mm-hmm.
them.
Yeah, essentially, if you know what you've probably noticed at this point, hopefully, is that every card in every deck is entirely unique as far as its effects goes. And so just unlocking more unique stuff, which can lead to different strategies that you end up playing in later rounds or in later sessions is super exciting. So,
You're launching Rolling Deep and Eureka together. So, and this is
mhm.
where we start to get a little spicier questions here. So, like, what's the logic? Are they
Yeah.
genuinely the same customer, or is it a play for average order value?
You know, it's interesting. I've seen companies do different things. Like if you look at All Play, they will often launch 3 games together, sometimes 4 games together, and those games usually have absolutely nothing in common with each other. And
Yeah, that's true.
I think part of the reason it works is oftentimes their second and third or fourth game that's in the Kickstarter is like $20, right? And
Mhm.
so it's not a huge ask to get people to spend a little bit more. We've done something similar, but a lot of our multi-game campaigns have been more so or more intentionally targeting the same audience. So then it's like, hey, it's likely all these games will appeal to you, and you know you can get them for flat rate shipping. That's one of the key features that All Play and Bitewing and All Play partners do is like, hey, if you add on all this extra stuff, we're not going to charge you more in shipping. It's still $4 in the US or $9 in Europe, whatever. So as far as who are these 2 games for, I think Eureka is absolutely 100%, no question, more approachable between the two
Right.
games here. Like I plopped Eureka down in front of my wife, who is not a huge gamer, and she doesn't like she's not one who, when she has free time, she's reaching for a game. She's more reaching for like a show or a book or something to craft.
Mhm.
Games are not like her natural tendency. But I plopped Eureka down in front of her, which is like a Yahtzee style campaign, and she was instantly hooked. And she played through it like all 20 levels, more than 20 levels in like the span of about a week or so. And like I, as a gamer who has played, who's much more jaded, has played many more games.
Right.
I don't like Yahtzee personally. Or I don't love Yahtzee, I should say, because it's all about the output randomness. You know, you roll the dice and you see what you get, and then you choose what to re-roll, and you're stuck with your results, right? But with Eureka, you roll the dice and then you decide where to assign them. So the decisions are put on the back end of the randomness, which is much more in favor of what gamers prefer.
Yeah.
So I think it's absolutely a game for people who are hobbyist gamers, just like it's for people like my wife who aren't, hardcore hobbyist gamers. But yeah, it's cheaper. It's something you can put in front of anybody. And yeah, generally it's like both these games, what's the common thread? They're solo games that have a lot of content and replayability to them, and they have that rubber hose style art. So yeah, that's the
Are they're both in this
reasoning.
kind of same world?
I guess you could consider it that way, I suppose. I like me personally, I haven't necessarily mentally put them in the same universe, but I don't know,
Okay.
maybe at some point we'll start putting Easter eggs between them.
Yeah, it's kind of
Like
fun,
maybe characters,
Ivy Studios
yeah,
has
show
really
up.
they spend a lot of time. I was just interviewing, which is why I mentioned them twice, kind of trying to
Hmm.
build these IPs out so they have this
Hmm.
kind of recognition as people come back to another game that might be totally different, but it's in the same kind of universe. And I was just wondering if that's kind of a strategy here, but it's more of an art style play for you.
Yeah, art style and like what kind of experience you're getting from the game. And we have both the small, 15, 20, 30 minute experience and the larger, if we weren't playing it as slowly as we are, pausing and teaching and stuff. This one you can usually knock out in like 45 minutes to an hour,
Yeah.
just playing through it on your own. But
Yeah.
obviously there's a lot more rules and complexity going on here, right? So it's going to take some time to get accustomed to it before you're really smoothly
Yeah,
going through sessions.
there's definitely some order of operations that we have here.
Mhm.
Crazy combos that we're already starting to pull off that take some time to kind of mentally work through as well. So you
Yeah.
know, yeah. How many chapters is this?
This is 5 chapters, so we
5
are at the
chapters.
end of chapter 2.
End
Yeah.
of chapter 2. For the sake of time,
Mhm.
should we just play through one more chapter and I rattle off a
Yeah,
couple
I
more
think.
questions as we go?
Hmm.
And we'll
Yeah,
get
I think
the
that's wise
okay.
because we were definitely like we're just gabbing too much, right? And
Yeah.
it'll take forever for us to get to the end. And obviously, like I think you have a really good strategy here. We basically, I think the only thing that can really derail you is the perfect boss coming out that
Right.
is counter to the whole strategy that you've built up. So we'll see
Right.
if it gets to that point, but it is possible. It does
Yeah.
happen. So
All right, so I've taken I keep wanting to call it income, but it's
interest, yeah,
Interest.
yeah,
Yep, there we
similar
go.
idea, right? Yeah.
So now I can. Why do I have the full? There we
You
go.
buy the whole deck. Yeah, if you click and drag it quickly, it'll just take one card
Oh, there
versus
we
the
go.
whole deck. Yeah.
All right. So the interesting
Cool.
thing about this is I go through these cards. My first idea here was all of the interest is going to be in the dice, but it seems like this tableau building off to the side creates so much more dynamic interaction. Was that always in the design?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, the design intent from Peter was to give each deck its own flavor, and you'll still see the whole array of types of cards coming out of the deck. Consumables, books, pickaxes, wands, you name it, scrolls. They all have those, but they each have kind of their own unique flavor to them. So like Gary specializes in mushrooms, so a lot of what we've been getting from these mushroom based cards, they come from Gary. And Sadie specializes in like resources besides mushrooms, so like coins and potions, and that's where you see like this card you got that gives you a potion, and this one gives you money. That's where you're seeing that kind of thing. Same with this one that gives you money for triples. And then Pipsqueak is our power guy, right? He's the most muscly of the bunch, and so he helps you kind of get your score marker higher typically. So
So we haven't cleared the market yet. How do I seed more cards? Remind me.
So yeah, if you don't want to buy any of these, then or say you buy one or two, whatever, you can spend a coin to refresh the shop, and then the tracker goes up. And so if you want to refresh again this round, then you got to spend 2 coins to refresh.
Oh, it's so only one coin. That's let's do that. These cards,
yeah, it's cheap,
aren't crazy enough.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we can get. Oh yeah. +5 to score. I already
That's
have
basically a
overhead.
replacement one, which you haven't spent yet. So,
but that looks pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah, this is a new type of card. So torches, they trigger at the start of every round, and they typically grant you something. In this case, 2 potions. So it doesn't matter where they go.
Oh, that's cool.
But,
beautiful.
yeah.
All right. Well, let's do that. And what's this one here? Destroy all mushrooms, then +2 to each row. That doesn't make sense at all for me. So I'm just gonna.
Yeah, you've got a good
where I am.
mushroom supply.
Yeah.
So then you got to decide where this torch goes.
And
you have one more spot up top, one more on the second row, and
we'll
then
just throw it up there
bottom
on
are
top.
open, obviously.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, feeling pretty good. You don't necessarily need more, but it's nice to get things like that, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
this
is the point where you could you have 9 coins. You could spend 2 coins to refresh again if you were really like, okay, I really need to bulk up. But yeah, it makes sense to stop there at this point. I think.
Beautiful.
All right. Chapter 3. We're gonna conclude on this one, but we'll see what the boss is. The last one you're gonna face. All right, so even results cannot use mushrooms. So whatever your dice result is that you roll, if it's even, then mushrooms cannot be used. So that could definitely impact you.
Is 0 counted as even in this game?
Yeah.
So 0 to 4, 6 won't trigger. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see what we can do. Well,
it's pretty good.
And I'm trying to hit 17.
Yeah, across 4 turns.
Oh yeah, I do have 4 turns. I'm not going to be greedy here. I'm just going to take the 3. I'll take the potion and the 2 coins.
Yeah, this would honestly be a much worse roll if you didn't have this card just stocking up mushrooms in that row for you. So yeah,
exactly right. Because then we do the mushrooms right. Because then we go 4 more. I forgot about that. I made that decision just out of pure like, hey, let's challenge ourselves here a little bit. But no, that's huge.
Still good,
right? And then it triggers here.
Did you take your? We might have forgot.
Here.
Did you forget to take your?
I did.
2 potions
I did forget to take the 2 potions.
All good. Yeah, that was like before our first roll. We do normally do that.
Right.
But yeah, sometimes when you get in a flow and you get a new torch, it's like, oh yeah, I have a torch now.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so then I didn't get a triple. So no double. Already did that. Oh, I just gave my. Oh no, that didn't trigger either. This does. So I even get one more potion. Oh,
just raking them in.
Yep. Okay. Fine. Let's go. Oh, I gotta flip this. Beautiful. Nope. Grab the wrong thing. All right, here we go. 0, 0, 1. Okay, well.
It's the lowest roll you've had in a while.
That is the lowest roll I've had in a while, so I am going to start to re-roll here. And it's 1 potion per die, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to re-roll this. And then that moves up to 2. All right. And then I'm going to re-roll this one, so I have to spend 2 more. The first time I've had to do that. Oh.
Now you're back down to earth. Now you get to see how us mortals roll dice.
Let's make this even harder. Let's get rid of some of those.
3, so
it does cap at 3. Okay. Let's hit that triple. There we go. Right. There we go. We'll take that. 1, 2, 3 up to 10. That is a triple. So technically we
get a coin from the die.
Oh,
as well as green die.
Coin from the die. 3 activates these. Yep. So then there's +3 there. Beautiful. And then we get +3 because of the card. 2, 3, and then another 5 coins. And then 2 mushrooms to that 2-3 row.
Yeah. That was probably the biggest benefit to burning some potions, honestly, is you added some more here to help you later. So
okay. And cool. I'm only 1 away.
1 away, huh? All right. Should be easy.
3, we'll take it. We're not gonna get greedy.
Yeah, no, technically your reroll cost is back down to 1 because you started a new turn, but yeah, you are burning through potions. So
yeah, I am burning through potions. I was a little crazy with my potion consumption there. But
now you only have 10.
Yeah, I only have 10. I get an extra 4 for the mushrooms. It would be crazy if I had some sort of synergy around overshooting right now. That would be
absolutely.
That would be even more nuts. Yeah, exactly. And then it's a 3, so then I activate no, done. Right?
The wand.
Oh, the wand. There we go. More potions.
Yeah, why not?
Up to 20.
Cool. Easy as that.
Yeah.
And then you get your reward. Actually, you get $3 plus interest.
4 potions, huh? Let's do it.
So good.
Let's do 4
so
potions.
Good. Yeah. And then you get to go shopping.
Yep. All right, let's see what we got. We have a wand, +1 to each other row when it fires. That could be interesting. +3 whenever I re-roll a 2. And just upgrading a die face to a 1 plus a coin. All right, so we'll do this one here.
Spreading that mushroom joy.
Yeah, we'll spread the mushroom joy. I get a lot of mushrooms there, so let's get it going somewhere else. That's going to cost me 5. And we'll take a pickaxe. Nah, I'm not going to reroll 2s. But for fun, let's upgrade something here. All right, and then we want to upgrade its side, right?
You got a bunch of plain Jane 1s and a couple 2s. So those are your.
And that's our
options.
1 + 1 coin. Whoops. He flipped the 1 for me. There, thank you. Why am I having trouble putting that thing on? Nope.
Are you choosing the wrong one? Here.
Did I choose the wrong one? All right, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be easier in the real game.
Yeah, we're planning to have like ideally an organizer tray, and it's like all the 1s are in this cubby and all the 2s, and so you find it real quick. And the nice thing is you can use one die face to pop out another one, so it's pretty quick from my experience. So with the wax model. So
all right, how did you get 5,500 followers so far on this campaign? And is it the most that you've ever had at this point?
Yeah, I think it's the most. We've had a couple that have gotten pretty high, but I don't know if we've ever cleared 5,000 for a pre-launch, especially in like the span of a week or so. We hit that a week or two. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, lucky for us, they recognize why this game is special. It's the same reason why I very recklessly signed it right away, and they're excited for similar reasons, because they're seeing the potential and the depth to the concept of like a Balatro style dice crafting board game. So that helps. Obviously, I think a lot of folks are fans of Cuphead like I am, and of Rubber Hose animation art, and so that helps too. So I think there's a lot of hooks to this game. So our job now is just to try to reach that solo crowd, really. Like, we've never done a solo only game up to this point, and now we're trying to make a huge splash. And so yeah, the hope is that we were able to reach that crowd and they find out about this game, right? So
yeah, that's it. And how did it hit, I believe, #1 on the Hotness, right, on BGG?
Yeah, it was on the #1 for several days straight. What was the
impetus to that? Was it did it get mentioned somewhere, or is it you just put out a press release or something?
Yeah, I mean, we send out a newsletter. Typically, when a publisher reveals a new game, if that game is like instantly or very, very eye-catching, or has a lot of people talking about it very quickly, then they want to go to the Board Game Geek page and learn more about it, right? And then people are interacting with the game page, and that kind of interaction and traffic is typically what pushes a game up on the BGG Hotness. It also helped that, like, I like to put out an informative post on BGG that people can learn a lot of information right away and follow the pre-launch page right away on Kickstarter. And then Peter's been posting a lot of design diaries too.
Yes.
So we've given folks a lot of information to dig into for this game and learn more about it and how it was created and what it's about and all those kinds of things. And yeah, I think that helped contribute as well to folks just digging into the info and it getting hot very quickly. So
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how I must have been on the Hotness. That's why I reached out to you all as soon as I saw it. I was like, oh man, that looks really cool. Okay, so I just rolled a 4. I activated here. We're up to 4, 5, 6, 7 already.
Yeah.
No mushrooms
you do your
to
cards.
activate at
Yeah,
all.
no mushrooms.
And I have doubles, so I get another 2 here.
Solid.
And that's it. Easy peasy.
That's it. That was first turn. Nice.
Yeah.
Looks like you re-rolled a few times, right? Or a couple times?
I re-rolled a couple times.
Cool.
I was trying to hit the triple threes as we talked, just for the dramatics, but we're not gonna
the triple twos.
We're not gonna hit that there. Has this been the earliest that you've signed a game? I think you went from signing, it said February 4th, and then within 4 months you're gonna have a live campaign, or when is the campaign actually gonna launch?
Yeah, we're looking at end of June, assuming
End of June.
Things continue smoothly is when we'll launch. So, yeah, absolutely, 100%. I think the average for us and any publisher is like a year and a half or 2 years, sometimes even more, from when you sign a game to when it's launched on Kickstarter. So it's kind of insane for us to condense that down into 4 months. And some people have been worried, like, does that mean the game's going to be rushed? Does that mean it's going to be underdeveloped or underutilized or whatever you call it? And I can understand those concerns, but the nice thing is, like, this is not Root, right? This is not Speakeasy. This is not a game where you need to schedule 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people's coordinate that many schedules, sit them down to play a multi-hour game, and then come away with it, needing to tweak a couple things and test it again and again and again, right? This game, like, Peter and I can knock out playtests, like a dozen playtests in a day. And if we're both doing it, we can knock out even more, simultaneously. So it's very quick to develop in that sense. And then a lot of it came down to, okay, can our artists work this quickly? Do they have enough time in their schedule? Can they get us a box cover by the time we're ready to reveal? And can they finish the art within a reasonable time and all that stuff, right? And fortunately, I checked all of that before committing to a 4-month schedule. And we are known to be quite fast when we want to be as far as putting out a game. And so, yeah, we're just kind of putting our experience and our grit to work here and just pumping this game out quickly. So
yeah, well, it's good for people like myself that are very excited about it. So you're when do you think you're going to deliver this, if it goes in June?
Yeah, I mean, most people, when they back a project from Bitewing, they will receive their game within about 7 months of that project, which is pretty fast. I think most people are accustomed to like a year or more, right? And sometimes people are like, oh yeah, I backed a project in 2021, still haven't gotten that game. And it's like, yeah, it's probably not going to happen at this point. But yeah, I mean, if you look at our turnaround time, like for example, we launched Gold Country and Totally Human in January, late January, and that is on track to deliver to folks midsummer or like July-ish for most people. August for some regions where it's just slower shipping. But yeah, similarly, this game should release by the start of Q2 next year. So it's going to be pretty quick.
And no concerns about the dice trying to get those right? Like, is that a kind of something that's sitting out there like, ooh, that could be a stumbling point?
Yeah, I guess that's the greatest mystery right now as far as bottlenecks go. Like, artwork and development has gone a lot faster than I expected, so I expect that to be finished by the time the Kickstarter wraps up. As far as the production goes, that's the main thing that we need to make sure we polish. And like, we're in no hurry to rush, a decent production out the door if we can polish it into something amazing. This is the kind of game that I hope will become an evergreen, that people can easily recommend to others, that they play for years and is expandable and all that. So we want the production to meet that standard. So yeah, if it takes a few extra weeks or months to get it right, trial and error with the dice or with the dice tower or whatever it is, I think we can, it's no problem. But Yeah, we'll find out. I'll see the first version here pretty soon, and then we'll really put it through its paces. But a lot of it, I think, is on the front end, just communicating to the factory, like, hey, it is super important that these dice and the faces hold up across a lot of use and a lot of, removal and swapping and stuff. And so that will dictate on their end, like, okay, how do we modify the 3D design, and what kind of plastic do we use, and all that kind of stuff. And then they test it on their end, and we test it on our end. So hopefully that speeds up the process, right?
Yeah. What was I gonna say? I totally had a thought about the dice. Anyways, Peter mentioned in his design diary that he has 3 upcoming solo games. All of them have been rethemed. Did you only sign one of those 3, or did you sign all 3 of those?
No. Yeah, one of them, I know who signed one of them, and he's mentioned it. I think it's called Day Night or something like that. I know who signed that, and it sounds really, really cool. But I'll let them be the ones to reveal more about that than anything Peter's reveals. But and then the third one, I don't know too much about at all. But
it's interesting. He's
this is the only one we signed. Well, Peter will admit himself, and it's funny because like Joe from All Play has done a lot of games with Peter as well, and Joe mentioned to me at one point, he's like, "Oh, Peter's so bad at themes."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Really?" Like the first game we signed with Peter, we actually kept the theme, and I was like, "I don't know, I'm not seeing it." And then he brought like Alembic, and
yeah.
And I was like, okay, now I see what you're talking about.
Well, it's good to know. So, like when you look at a Peter game, you just got to look through the theme, because there's some brilliant mechanics sitting back there, right?
Well, the nice thing about most games is there's not always one right theme. Like, yeah, some designers are very theme focused. Man, I've got my table spinning now. I put my microphone on the keyboard. That would explain it. Yeah, so some games are more flexible as far as how you theme them, right? And I would argue that this theme that we came up with is like enormously more fitting and thematic and intuitive than what Peter started with. And so yes, designers typically, I think they're in the habit of like, I'm just going to use the easiest thing that comes to mind that kind of makes sense, and let the publisher worry about it, because I think most experienced designers are used to having their games rethemed.
Right. Yeah, that's I was talking to recently Danny Garcia, and there's a couple he's like, you know what, I cannot have these rethemed no matter what. Barcelona is one of them. Diablos, which is coming out on GameFound soon, is another. Voynich Puzzle, another one. But others, the people just come in and they change them all different ways. But he says he's to the point where he can say no, which he's a brilliant designer, and I totally get that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, 1 out of 10 games probably we don't retheme, and I'd say half of those, it's like, oh, this cannot be any other theme. It literally cannot. And the other half is like, this is better than anything I can come up with, so let's keep it. So yeah, that's usually how it goes.
And I just casually re-rolled myself into a 5 there. We will take that on this.
Good.
Last
you want
row.
the odd results, because you are facing off against this.
I forgot about that. That's a good thing to remind me on, as I just kind of casually go here. Even results, I cannot use mushrooms. It wouldn't have mattered here. The 5, because these don't count as mushrooms, right?
That's right. So,
all right.
Yeah.
And that's another 3 to my total. And then I activate my double that's up here. So that's another 2. And then I activate here, which is yet another 2. Boom.
Wow. Yeah, that was 1 out of your 4 turns. That's pretty good.
That's 1 turn. Feeling great. So you have the $1 achievement box for pre-launch followers. Some critics might say that that's a FOMO tactic. However, it seems to be totally accepted through all campaigns. And I was recently, I can't remember who I was listening to, but they're talking about the importance and the value of a customer coming to you early and pledging early, and how they should be rewarded. How do you balance that and wanting to reward those early adopters with the completionist that comes along a little bit later? How do you think about that pre-launch reward, and what are you offering?
Yeah, I mean, we don't love locking people out of opportunities for more gameplay content or things like that. I think that's like, that I would consider as like the most extreme FOMO tactic you could do from a publisher standpoint. And we've never locked gameplay, exclusive content behind a Kickstarter pledge or anything like that. Um, in this case, our goal was like, we just want to gain a lot of followers for this project. We want people to be learning about it and following it. And so the offer was, hey, this $7 add-on, we'll let you acquire it for just $1 if you basically follow the page before launch. And we're trying to spread the word as much as possible and give people as much time as possible. And basically the ultimate achievement box, what it is if you complete all achievements in the game, then you can open this box. And what we've very clearly tried to lay out is there's no gameplay in this particular box. It's just a cool reward. And you can still get it if you weren't somebody who didn't follow it early. You can still acquire it. It's just not discounted. And to me, that's like, it's similar to how Kickstarter itself works. Like most publishers will be like, hey, if you back the game on Kickstarter instead of waiting for retail, we're going to discount this particular thing, or we're going to give you a bundle discount, or we'll give you this stuff for free. And so this is just like a subset of that in my mind. But yeah, I mean, we're trying it out. Really, the goal here is just to get more eyeballs on the campaign before it launches. And yeah, some people may decide I'm not going to back it. I'm going to wait for retail, whatever. That's fine. Like, everybody has their own way of acquiring new games. But honestly, it makes for Kickstarter backers backing our games, it makes the world of a difference, because it allows us to gauge the demand for a project, so we know how much to print in the first print run, but it also allows us to afford that. Margins are very slim in board games. You have to pay for the production, you have to pay for the ocean freight, you have to pay for tariffs, you have to pay for warehouse storage and artwork and development and everything that goes into it, the advance on royalties. And that's a huge risk for a publisher to take and not know at the end of it all, like, am I going to sell through all these few thousand games, or how quickly is it going to sell through? And your money can get tied up very quickly in product that's just not moving. So we are very appreciative of backers who support us and really help us overcome those hurdles, so that we can not only continue to make games, but also make more games of this style, right? So we do try to reward people as much as possible who support us in the biggest way they can by backing on Kickstarter. So,
and that is if you have to follow through a special link, right? That's on it's not actually following from the main page.
Yeah, so this part's kind of annoying. Basically, GameFound has the feature where you can give pre-launch followers a reward automatically. Kickstarter is kind of behind in the sense that they just barely came up with something kind of similar, but it's just more of a headache to deal with. Where essentially, on my end, I can create a reward or an add-on and make it secret, or basically specific to a particular link. And we're not trying to be super exclusive about it. Like, we put the link on the pre-launch page itself, and it's like, hey, if you got here through another link, just click this link on the pre-launch page and then click follow, and you're good. You'll have access. But notably, like, we're trying to open this up to even more people. So in our last pre-launch update that our followers got, we said, hey, we'll give every backer, regardless of how you got here and when you came to the Kickstarter, we will give you this box for free instead of for $1 or $7, if we can hit 8,000 pre-launch followers. So that's currently the goal, is like, if you're not following this, or people who are interested and are not following it or might be interested, might as well just tell them, like, or just go click and follow, because if we can hit 8,000 followers basically within the next month or so, then it's going to be free for everybody instead of a discount for the pre-launch followers. So that's the goal right now.
Yeah. You had mentioned that this is sort of a pivot for Bitewing. Is it solo in particular? Is it the weight in the game? And like, how does this feel like a Bitewing game for you? Or are you trying to just expand to make Bitewing mean something differently in the market?
Yeah, I mean, I think people know Bitewing best as typically doing rather high interaction multiplayer games, like Zuvadis, or Cascadero, or Silos, or a lot of these games have auctions or area majority or things like that, or negotiation. And we've done lower interaction games like Trailblazers and games that have solo modes like Trailblazers and Moitura, and we have our two-player line as well, right? And we've never done a solo focused game, and we've very like since the beginning we've had a strong emphasis on like, hey, we love board games. A big reason we love board games is the way it brings people together and gets them interacting with each other. And that's why I personally don't love low interaction or like multiplayer solitaire games typically, because that's not a huge reason why I get to the table and play games. And but obviously we're doing a solo line now, right? So that's like
Yeah.
way off from what we've communicated to people and what our audience is used to from us. But I think the key here is I historically have not loved solo modes in very interactive multiplayer games, especially because they have to do these flow charts and bots and all these like
Did you listen to my last few episodes? I've went off on this multiple times.
No, I need to check those out apparently. But yeah, I mean, as you know, it can get very fiddly and
Yeah.
tiresome quickly, right?
Well, that's I despise. I despise is a strong word. I will cope with them, but in general, if a game is not built for solo from the ground up,
Hmm.
and you're trying to bolt on an automa, I don't want to try to run like an algorithm. Like anytime that comes up, I'm just turned off completely, because I've already read in some cases a 20-page rule book to get there, and then on top of that, it's just so deflating to read a 6-page automa and then have to remember all that. I want to think about what I'm doing on my turn. And as people just watched as you were kind of answering some of these questions, I flowed through that last round pretty easily. Granted, we did find a pretty awesome build, but it just flows. You could tell this was built for solo, and there's probably a reason it's not co-op, right? Like you don't plan any sort of co-op mode. That's refreshing. Like when when the game is what it is and you don't try to make it everything. I love that. You know, but it is cool that you're kind of expanding. You have a personal bias towards high interaction. Speaking of Zuvadis, I played that for the very first time at Dice Tower West recently and loved it. It's something I had totally overlooked for so long, and I was like, oh, negotiation and racing, like that is so cool. I've also played Trailblazers, but I hadn't played much, in fact nothing else from Bitewing. And your stuff's always looked interesting, but I, for whatever reason, I just hadn't come across it. I'm a little busy with all kinds of stuff and channel and and such.
Sure.
But for whatever reason, this game really caught my eye, not necessarily because I'm a solo gamer, which I am, but that art style and the Balatro kind of tag got me as well. So hopefully this does bring more people into Bitewing to see kind of like what all of everything that you have. Is there any sort of, when they play this game, are they going to notice Bitewing in it anywhere?
I think people who have played a lot of Bitewing titles, they tend to notice that we like to invest in a good quality production. We're not trying to like cheap out on the quality of like the cards or the artwork or things like that, and we try to be very consistent on that end. And I also think we try to have a good attention to detail. I mean, we're not perfect. I don't think any publisher is perfect. It's very common for a publisher to put out a game and then find out later, like, oh, there's this little error just hiding in this little corner of a component or something. And it's not game breaking. It's not the end of the world, but like, it's hard to, when there's so many assets that are constantly getting updated, it's hard to get everything 100% perfect. But we do try to have a really good attention to detail and like very good rule books that make life easier to learn, and all that kind of thing. So yeah, my goal is like, I literally just stayed up until 3 a.m. last night, combing over the latest updates on this exact game, and we were like just polishing some of the bosses and the wording of them. And I caught like, oh, you know what? The way we're wording this could be more clear if we changed it to this. And then I had to go find like those dozen or so cards that are spread out across all these decks that use that wording and refine it, you know? And so, yeah, I mean, we're trying to really polish this as much as possible and give people just the best experience they can imagine. Like, I don't want people to back, especially like the first version of this game, the first printing, and find like, oh, I should have waited till the second printing because they're making all these improvements. And like, that's a good way to that's a good way to scare off your most loyal customers, your initial backers, right? So that we're not in the business of doing that. But yeah, I mean, hopefully we give people, you know, a depth and a quality of experience, and that is consistent across our games. You know, it's worth mentioning, like you said, like we've been saying this whole playthrough, this is one of the luckiest one of the luckiest playthroughs I've seen in terms of like
it wasn't like I lost before in like the third round before. So
yeah, when you try it on your own, right?
Yeah, when I was on my own. And I was probably like, cheating too. So
yeah, you even had that advantage. No, you pulled out like such good cards, and you had some really great rolls, right? And sometimes it's just like things just synergize, and like even though the game can sometimes become easy like that, that's exactly how Balatro is. And
100%, it's like Balatro. Yes.
Yeah, and for some reason, instead of it growing stale, it becomes like, I don't know, it becomes its own kind of fun where you're like, okay, how crazy of a build can I construct here? Can I like take out this boss in one turn? Can I nail this achievement now that I've really buffed up? There's different things that it's kind of the focus of it shifts, but it doesn't necessarily mean the fun is diminished.
So Balatro is finding that broken combination. Like that's exactly what that game is. And in fact, the interesting thing about that is when you get to the end of your run, at least with me, I'm disappointed that I can't keep going and can't keep like, you know, I think there's some modes where you can kind of like infinitely go, but it's like there is an end to it, and you're like, I just want to see how far I could take this. And in fact, this playthrough wasn't a negative at all. Like I would love if like 1 out of every 10 runs are like this, where you do find those special cards where, you know, you have to have those runs where, you know, you get beat up a little bit, but then when you get those 3 pickaxes that synergize the 3 in a row, and then you have an engine for money, like that's just like, whoa. It makes it feel so rewarding. Some people don't like that, but I think if like you have a video game sensibility, you're always trying to find those runs or those broken combinations, you know, and I don't use broken as a bad word. It's like that's what you're going for. You're trying to find those synergies that make it fun. If everything is perfectly balanced, it's perfectly boring to me. Like you never actually find that kind of like gray space where it's like, whoa, I got something special here. And you kept saying that as I kept drawing these cards, and it's like, oh, great. You know, we caught lightning in a bottle here.
Yeah, that's the cool thing is like if every play was like this one that you had, then they'd grow stale quickly, right? Then there's no contrast, there's no excitement about, well, this is just what we've come to expect. But you know, this is definitely one of those reactions where it's like, oh, I'm building such a good combo right now. This is one of the best plays I've had in my last like 10 or 20 runs or whatever you call it. Like this is definitely a top tier run that we were just going through. Yeah. And that makes it all the more satisfying and exciting that it's like, oh, the stars are aligning and this is going to be a good session. But I mean, I think some people might have seen my playthrough that I did on the Bitewing Games YouTube channel of the basic mode, which also I had a lot of lucky pulls. And so there's like 2 very lucky, you kind of see that end of the spectrum that are going to be available to watch on the internet. But I want to note that on the Bitewing YouTube channel, I'm going to put the opposite end of the spectrum on Bitewing's channel very soon, where I played through with the starting setup, no extra cards or unlocks or anything. I played the advanced mode, and it's just like a grind the whole time. Like I am scraping, I am just like, you know, hanging on for dear life by a thread through so many of these rounds, and it's a nail biter throughout. So if you want to see the complete opposite end of the spectrum as far as how difficult can this be, and like how does that force you to change the way you play the game, then I'd say definitely check that out when it goes live. It may go live before this playthrough goes on, but it'll be on YouTube either already or very soon. So I think it's cool to see the whole spectrum, though, of experiences that this game can provide.
Yeah, those grinded out runs are fun also because they can create really dramatic moments. Like the drama on this one, I guess I guess even here, because we were trying to roll the 3 3s over and over again, it did lend itself to some drama, or the drama of pulling the next crazy card that I just didn't need in my in my build. But yeah, those grinded out sessions though can have those super dramatic rolls. I'm a big Too Many Bones fan, and most of them are grinded out. It's significantly punishing. But when you get those rolls on those sessions that have just been beating you up the whole time, they're so great.
Absolutely.
I have 3 more questions, and then I'm going to let you go here.
Cool.
One, these should be relatively short. So talk a little bit about the rolling deeper expansion. Does it make the game better? And why not include it in the base game if it does?
Yeah, it's 2 great questions. So the first one, the way the game worked, or the way the expansion works, is it starts out as an achievement. Just like the win a game treasure box that you get from the base game. This one is saying complete X number of achievements. And so there's a way in the game, it's an easy way to kind of track how many achievements you have completed. And so then what that enables us to do is make some of the achievements, instead of being very specific gameplay related, setup related goals, they can be just like a more meta achievement of like, hey, you've completed this many achievements, now you unlock this. And so the expansion essentially unlocks once you completed so many achievements, and it unlocks a lot more content, essentially a lot more cards. And it's basically a lot more variety for everything that we've just seen. So for the various different kinds of decks, and also more achievements, and the list goes on. I think some people have gotten the impression that like, oh, publishers like to split up content or take content or gameplay from this game and put it into a separate product to milk us for more money. And I can absolutely understand that. I do think some games pull essential gameplay elements out of the base game and put it in an expansion, and that is a big mistake. And it, in some cases, maybe they didn't realize, or they just should have known better. And in other cases, it may be malicious. But in our case, our philosophy is like, hey, give us as much content as you can for the base game, and we're going to figure out like what is the ideal experience that the base game provides. And then if there are extra modules that feel like they drastically change the feel of the game, or if there's extra variety that in particular pushes the production beyond the target price we're aiming for, then yeah, we should separate that out. Because in my opinion, if I can get people, if I have like an $80 game that has all the content in it, there's going to be less people that are willing to drop $80 on that game and try it out, right? But if I can drop that by 10 or 20 or 30 or what have you, if I can drop that price down, I have lowered the barrier to entry for people who try the game. So for us, we have a target price that we want to hit for this particular game, and that's going to dictate the total number of components we can cram into the box before it just becomes too expensive for us to stay at that price. And so that's basically the reason behind it. I think anybody who really digs into rolling deep, very quickly they're going to find, yeah, they did not shortchange us on the base game content here. Like there is, and I've said like there are hundreds of unlockables and achievements and challenges just in the base game alone, and then the expansion just ratchets that up to an insane amount. Like I describe it as going from ridiculous to ludicrous, basically, is like how much content you're getting when you add in the expansion on top of that. So yeah, I don't think anybody's going to feel shortchanged in that sense. The goal here basically is just to get a digestible, meaningful, or worthwhile base game price that more people are, they can accept, and they'll try out the game. And then I think, honestly, the vast majority of those people are going to get dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of hours out of the base game and decide, hey, I want more out of this, so I'm going to now pick up the expansion. Or they might just get it right away. But yeah, there's a lot to dig into. That's
like the main question, right? Is it introducing particular mechanics or specific ways of playing that just make it better, or is it just a more content? If you love this game, it's just going to enhance that experience. Recently, I've played some games where it was clear price point was a concern, and it got me in, and I loved this game. And I won't mention it now. I mentioned it enough before. I'm not going to keep harping on it. I love the game, but it was so frustrating that I need access to these expansions that still aren't out yet, that will be out soon enough, but were conceived in the very beginning and were part of the Kickstarter. You know, and it hasn't happened often where I've loved a game so much that I was literally frustrated that I didn't have the expansion right then and there.
Yeah.
But it did occur to me that it was a really great price point at $40. When I first bought the game, I was like, oh, of course I'm going to try this. It's $40. How silly does that sound, that $40 is a great price point nowadays? But yeah, you know, so that's where that kind of question comes from, is just, are people going to be satisfied with that base game experience? And the psychopaths that love it are the ones that are going to want the expansion.
Yeah, the expansion doesn't introduce any new mechanisms or gameplay elements. It's simply more variety. And yeah, like I said, there's so much variety in the base game box that, like, anyone who feels like, I didn't get enough out of my money's worth here, like, I think you're living in a different dimension or something. Because like this, in my opinion, this is our most value packed game we've ever created, and it's definitely not going to be like our most expensive game we've created by a long shot, even though the value and the content and the variety and replayability is like so much higher than any other game we've ever made. The price is still like pretty on par with some of our bigger games. So yeah, I think people will be very satisfied with how it all shakes out. And honestly, Peter is one of those designers that, like, when you tell him, hey, we want more, he will give you, when you say like, hey, Peter, can you give us a promo pack? He'll go off and design an entirely new expansion.
Really?
And then it's like, and then at some point you're like, Peter, this is like a full blown, like, very, content rich expansion here. And so, like, yeah, he just, when you push him down a path, it quickly snowballs. And so there's going to be no shortage of content from any of Peter's games. And I think you see that across even a lot of his existing designs. There's just a lot to dig into.
Is this going to be yours and Peter's biggest campaign ever?
Ooh, I mean, I think the biggest competition on Peter's end would be, he's had some really good successes lately. The biggest one, I think, being
big one,
Critter Kitchen.
Yeah.
Critter Kitchen is probably his best campaign he's ever had, which is tough to compete with. Like, Cardboard Alchemy, I think is at the top of their game in terms of publishers who have a very passionate audience, and then they have the Sundara Tang Flamecraft style artwork to back up that game and a lot of their products. And so it's like, man, that is steep competition. And then Peter's had a lot of big hits in retail, like Things and Rings has sold so many copies across so many languages. And I think that game's probably sold at least 100,000 copies at this point, probably easily. So yeah, like, it is Rolling Deep going to reach those heights? I think it has the potential to. This first campaign, it really comes down to how many people can we reach, how many people can learn about this project before it's live or while it's live. And it may be that a lot of those people don't find out about the game until maybe a second Kickstarter campaign down the road. Maybe eventually we do a reprint with another big expansion. Like, I think the sky's the limit here, and it's likely that if the first campaign is a hit and the game itself is a hit, then we'll likely have another one in this line down the road that's even bigger. But I do think this will be the biggest Bitewing Games Kickstarter campaign or crowdfunding campaign that we've ever had, easily. I think we're very much tracking to hit that. And then the question is, like, how high does it go from there? We'll find out, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's going to crush. I think that's, I assume you're going to make this mod publicly available for the TTS.
Yeah, we're thinking eventually we'll put out like a sample version of the mod. Basically, pretty much what you played is probably what it's going to be. I don't think we'll have all the unlockables and achievements.
Yeah,
some of the stuff we're trying to keep the spoilers on the low end, essentially, throughout the campaign and until people receive the game itself. But I think there will be a playable version that we'll update folks about rather soon. So
yeah,
that's the goal.
I think as soon as people play it and watch some playthroughs, like for me, as soon as I got that second pickaxe and then I saw that synergy, before I even knew you know, all the other things that we were going to draw. I was like, oh, that's it for me. Like it's got the art and the theme already. It's super approachable, easy. You don't have a million dice. It's just 3, right? But there's a lot of depth. That card market on the side or the tableau, all of it's kind of, I think creates a really awesome experience. It's pretty approachable and is like right up the solo gamers alley without that's going to be, you're going to be able to easily get this thing to the table. And I think that's one of the tough parts about solo gaming in general. We've gotten more and more complex and these insane kind of table presences and having to keep this stuff set up. I hear that all the time, how that's a frustration. We're not going to have any of that problem here. Last question is this the best design you've ever signed? Not best performing or how you project it. Is this the best design you've ever signed? Could be no. You know, you work with some heavy hitters in your lineup.
Yeah. Honestly, best is a tough one because it's like, what?
That's why it's the last question. It's a spiciest.
Yeah. Is it personal favorite? Is it most marketable? You know, like where or like best conceived?
The actual design, the design that is put down on paper here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason that I signed it within, hours or, a few days of first encountering it and really only getting a taste of it at that point. And that's because I felt like, oh, this game has potential. And after now having played it for dozens of different plays and through various difficulties and achievements and hours and still having more surface to scratch, it's still one of my favorite board games I've ever played. And so, yeah, I'd say it is a definite top contender for best design I've ever signed. I would say any other contenders from us would be like Zuvadis, I think is one of the best negotiation games ever created. And I feel lucky. I still feel lucky to be a part of, bringing that to life. Because there's some very talented people who came up with just brilliant concepts and solutions for how to bring that game to life. I think Trailblazers is a dynamite puzzly route builder.
Good. Yeah. The two I played are so good. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But ever since I signed this, I have felt that Rolling Deep is going to be one of our evergreens. This is going to be one of our, most successful titles that we ever publish. So yeah, I think it's easy to say like definitely top tier. Cool. And I feel lucky to have signed it for sure.
Beautiful. Nick Murray, you've spent plenty of time with me. I really, really appreciate all the time you spent, all of the questions. You made it through the first episode of Hot Rolls. It might be the only episode of Hot Rolls ever, but we're experimenting, seeing how this thing goes. It'll refine itself over time, just like a good design.
Oh, it's super fun. I appreciate you having me on, and hopefully people learn some things and got a good feel for how a really synergistic, just dynamite session of Rolling Deep can go. So
yeah, exactly. Now go and watch on the Bitewing channel Nick get punished in the other direction.
Yeah.
And his deck was not stacked with creator luck.
That's right.
Bye, Nick. Thank you.
Thank you.